Hello, my name is Tabs, and welcome to episode 106 of the Grove podcast. Now, I hope you're all doing very well and enjoying the fact that Arsenal are finally moving and shaking in the transfer business, in the transfer market. I know it's not quite the striker we want yet, but that will come. So for now, it's about squad building and squad depth. Now, Zubi's done, almost. Kepa's done, almost. And now to add to the list of almost transfers, you can add Christain Norgaard from Brentford for around, I don't know, 10 mil, 10, 15 mil, depending on add-ons and all the rest of it. And not the 40 million plus that was quoted to Tottenham. So that was quite funny to see the contrast. So we've also been linked today with another Christian. I don't know, maybe Arteta's having a crisis of faith, but Christian Mosquera, a right-sided centre-back who can also play right-back, left-back, I believe. A good young prospect with only a year left on his contract from Valencia. Can provide cover and is available for around 17 mil. So that looks like it could be a good piece of business. So let's see. And there's also been links with Eberechi Eze today, which I'm not so sure about that one. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to see him at the Arsenal, but I'm not sure he's the wide attacker upgrade that we're looking for. And I guess the left side might get a tad congested with Rice, MLS, Havertz all occupying the same space that he would also want to play. So let's see. Look, I wouldn't complain, but maybe it's a smokescreen for when we get Rodrigo. Anyway, back to Christian Norgaard. You'll be pleased to hear today that today's show is going to be a relatively short one, partly because we're recording on Zoom and I've only got 40 minutes, so not the usual hour and plus that we get. And I will be joined by a Brentford expert to give us the lowdown on what sort of player we will be expecting. So, without further ado, it's a very warm welcome to the Grove podcast. To my very good friend and co-founder of the Marcus Gale Supporters Club, it's Tom Lloyd. Tom, how you doing? Welcome to the Grove.
Evening, Tabs. Thank you for the welcome. I have recorded a piece twice, in fact, about Brentford in advance of Brentford Arsenal games over the last couple of years. Good to be here.
And you still have your membership card?
It's all gone digital season tickets now. You don't even need a card. I'm not sure how I'm going to go with this.
I don't know, and I'm not sure how much Marcus Gale knew about it either, but there we go. Right, so Tom is a lifelong Brentford fan, season ticket holder at the GTech, and as he said, he provides some inputs into pre-game analysis for when the two clubs meet. Now, I've known Tom ever since we started stewarding together at Brentford's old ground, Griffin Park, back in the, was it mid to late 80s? We were there?
Late 80s, yes, very late 80s, I think.
Yeah, I just got to stand at the bottom of a stairwell, opening a gate for the police, whilst Tom had the pleasure of courting abuse from, is it Neuro fans? The Neuro
side of the ground.
As he strolled up and down the touchline with his long, flowing blonde locks.
Jason Donovan was the man in those days.
Ensuring that there was no trouble. Not that either of us would have been any good should anything have kicked off. But I think the worst we had to contend with was picking up chomp bars from the perimeter.
That was the chomp era, wasn't it?
Now, any fond memories of stewarding? Any moments that stand out from your time?
Well, just the opportunity to watch Brentford games, get paid a very small sum of money, and just to get him free. Yeah, that was the best part of it for
me. I think it paid for 2 or 3 pints at the Kent.
I think about it, yeah.
At about I think my number one highlight. Well, I say highlight. My number one memory was when one of the chief steward's brothers turned up before the game, and who was put on stairwell gate duty with me. And I subsequently found out they had only just been released from prison that morning. So it's like,
That's right. I think he spent most of the time watching Brentford while listening to Jonathan Pearce commentating on Arsenal games in your earphones.
Indeed, I did. It was in the days when all you could do to keep up with the games was have the terrace tranny plugged into the ear. So there we go. So those are great times and very, very enjoyable. And look, Brentford is one of my it's like my second club, and I go and watch them play whenever Arsenal are playing. And yeah, good to see. So look. With Christian Norgaard, so even though the timing coincided with Partey not staying or his contract not being extended or whatever it is, I think many he's not the replacement for Partey. He's more of the Norgaard. He's more of the Jorginho replacement. That's what I'd see. He seems to be a solid, dependable player, Premier experience, which Arteta loves. Can come in, do a job, and is about maintaining a level of squad depth and experience, which will be either helpful if you need to close out games, cup games, or need to rotate. He was signed from Fiorentina back in 2019, which surprised me. There we go. And went to Brentford and in Championship. So to go from Serie A, even though Fiorentina finished 16th that year, to go to Brentford in the Championship. But then he's played 196 games, scored 13 goals over 2 seasons in the Championship and 4 in the Prem. So, Tom, what sort of player are we getting?
Well, he's very much a favourite of Thomas Frank. Of course, Thomas Frank's left Brentford now. He's totally reliable, dependable midfielder. He's not going to be dribbling around players, but he will sit in front of the defence, mopping it up, and he loose balls there. Comfortable on the ball. He's certainly accurate and sort of level-headed passer. Comfortable getting the ball from the goalkeeper, turning if he can, looking for a forward pass. And in fact, this season, more than in previous seasons, he's actually chipped in with a few goals. He's got 5 or 6. You might have the stats closer to hand than I have. I think he's got 5 or 6 goals this season.
Yeah, five goals, 4 assists this season.
Yeah, okay, and a few assists in him as well. As you know, he's 31 now. I would think he's perhaps quite an old 31. He had a good record of fitness this season and played, is it 33, 34 league games?
34 Prem games, yeah.
Yes, so he's had a better year. He has missed games. He has suffered a few injuries over the years. And but yeah, the season that's just finished, he's had a very good year. Been the captain for the last 2 years since Pontus Jansson left Brentford. And he's very much a sort of manager on the pitch, and he'll be missed by Brentford, that's for sure.
No, indeed. Yeah, back on that record. Yeah, 34 this year, 31 games last year. 22. I think 2 years ago that was the season where he only 22 games. I think that's when he missed a few for injury. Then 35 the year before that, and then his first year, and then his last year in the Premiership was 17 games. When considering how many games there are, that's like practically 2/3 of the season he missed. A couple of bad seasons, but other than that, it's not like every season he's missing a quarter of it. It's like I think he's had 2 bad seasons, but the other seasons he's been pretty solid. So yeah, just picking up on a couple of those points, and then not in any particular order. But I was interested to hear you say he's an old 31, and yeah, I was wondering what made you think that, because that's one of the things that struck us in terms of the deal. It's relatively cheap. He's replacing Jorginho, so in terms of experience, in terms of that, but maybe we were hoping that when you say 31, maybe he's young 31. What makes you say he's an old 31? Just out of interest.
I think because he has missed games.
Yeah,
and I would imagine that Arsenal signing him up, Arsenal aren't going to want him to play every game, because of course they're going to have Declan Rice playing there, Odegaard. You say Zubimendi signed up, so they've got options there, and it's possible that Norgaard will start the season on the bench anyway.
Yeah.
But with all the European commitments, with the cups, with all the Premier League games, he will certainly play a role. But I wouldn't have thought Arteta will be buying him to be first choice in every game. I'd imagine there'd be a bit of rotation there, and obviously Declan Rice, Odegaard will play all the crucial games. Yeah. Perhaps Norgaard won't. And you looked at his injury record, he's had a better record this season, but looking back on it, he has missed games, missed chunks of the season with injuries in the past.
And are there any particular injuries, or just run of the mill, just sort of happens? Is it, or is he?
Yeah, I don't think it's one that I know that's been recurring, something to really worry about. It's just, he's industrious. He does put his foot in. He might even get a suspension or 2. I think he's avoided that last couple of years. Certainly at the Emirates, Arsenal fans wanted a red card for him. I can remember we fouled somebody on
Well, put it like this.
our right outside. You were attacking on the left, forgotten who it was. And a lot of Arsenal fans wanted the red card. I'm not even sure if he has been sent off for us, but he sometimes sounds a bit close to it.
Well, put it like this. Well, it was the tackle on Martinelli, and it was orange, I think, at best. But as they say,
Right.
it was more than a yellow, not quite a red, so orange.
He does pick up yellows. That's true.
Don't worry. Look, he'll pick up reds when he becomes an Arsenal player. When he's playing at the get Michael Oliver on the case, and he'll be getting sent off before we know it.
Arteta will coach it into it. He'll play the Arsenal way.
Absolutely. So it was interesting to hear what you were saying about his ability on the ball, because what does stand out is like he's one of the best ball winning midfielders in the top 5 leagues across Europe. So defensively he's comparable or even better, in the areas like ball recoveries, blocking passes, interceptions than Partey, than Rice, than Zubimendi. He's better than Partey in terms of aerial duels won, and similar to Rice and Zubimendi. So I think defensively, I think we can call out a lot, and I think that sort of particularly stands out because we don't have that traditional defensive midfielder in the team. We that solid player. That work is either done through intelligence by interception, or our centre backs who are the hard nuts. But I also saw a stat that he's like also pretty good with his progressive passes and stuff. And the fact that you said he's actually happy receiving the ball, playing it out from defence. I was surprised to hear that, because I haven't seen that translated in terms of the stats. But it's interesting to hear that from someone that watches him week out. Is it more just get the ball and release it to the more creative player like Damsgaard, or get it out to Mbeumo or Wissa, or what role does he play in terms of the attack progressing?
Yeah, there's a bit of that. Damsgaard would be our first player that you'd want really to have the ball in a bit of space to really find one of your forwards. But Norgaard, I would have thought, I haven't seen the stats, but in terms of keeping the ball, I would imagine his stats would be pretty strong there. And playing the easy pass, maybe, as you say, recovering the ball, interceptions, very good. Surprisingly good in the air. He's not a tall man, but he wins a lot of aerial challenges. And also, we talked about his goals record. He loves a near post run and a flicked header. That's how he's got some of his goals. But he's calm on the ball, keeps the ball, wins the ball back. Not really going to play the defence splitting pass. No. Not going to dribble around anybody. But that's his main attributes, I'd say.
Yeah, but good for recycling the ball, just being an option. Pass and move type stuff. Not and again, exactly, I think we know what we're getting, and great that he's good with his head. He's coming to set piece FC. He's coming from one set piece FC to another set piece FC. So I think that will translate quite nicely. So it's not an exciting purchase. It's a practical one. It's a needed one. Everyone goes, where's the striker? Where's the winger? But the easy deals are done quickly and easily. The big money signings are never easy. So, but we've got to get this work done. We're down 2 midfielders. So I think it's a good pragmatic. Good option, and then we can upgrade in a couple of years' time, sort of thing. So, in terms of what he did for Brentford, are there any sort of standout moments, standout performances? In terms of that, either getting you promoted from the Championship or making Brentford a regular Premiership.
In fact, in terms of going up that season, that was actually when he did suffer quite a few injuries that year. I don't actually think he was playing in the playoff final win at Wembley when we beat Swansea to go up. However, he was definitely playing in the first Premier League game at the GTech, and he scored the second goal against Arsenal. And in fact, that was the far post header. Someone else flicked it on at the near post, and he got up at the far post. I think somebody might have been annoying. It might be Ramsdale, Arsenal's goalie.
It was Leno. You mean, when you say annoying, you mean fouling? And I
would say, no, that's right. It's the Fulham keeper now, wasn't it?
Yeah. Leno. It was a tall I know one of your Nordic centre backs. I can't remember who it was. But
That's right. It's a long throw routine. Flick on it near post, and Norgaard came in late and headed that in. So I suppose, in terms of memorable moments, that is probably the most memorable. But he's perhaps one of these players that does lots of really significant work, but it just doesn't. It's not going to really get on the highlight reel. That is one that will be remembered for the highlight reel, even though it was only about ahead of about 4 yards out. But it was in the right place at the right time.
Opening, Brentford's first game in the Premier League and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a memorable.
And also the first game with spectators, perhaps in the Premier League, because there haven't been spectators because of COVID.
All right.
I can't remember whether spectators any of the previous season. Perhaps not in the Premier League. I don't know.
I think they have sporadic. They had that. They had very reduced crowds, like 10% or something like that. So you could have.
Yeah, because Brentford had 1 or 2.
Yeah.
The playoff semi-final second leg, and of course Wembley is about 20,000. I think at Wembley allowed for that final.
Okay, and so no, interesting. Well, yeah, good couple of standout moments. And what would you say he's sort of like? What's his character like in and around the training ground, the dressing room?
I thought totally professional,
stereotypical sort of Scandi, type.
Not that I'd want to stereotype, but yeah, you probably say that, and almost like Thomas Frank sort of teacher's pet. Definitely the manager on the pitch. You could see at times if there's an injury or some break in play, he'd often trot over to the bench and have a little word with Thomas Frank to get some advice or to have a chat about what to do, approach, tactics, that sort of thing. I would have thought it'd be professional, sensible. He's not going to be on the front page for any, anything surprising off the pitch. He's in the Denmark squad. I think he probably is in the Denmark first 11 now. But in fact, that was the old Tottenham player who seemed to battle with him. I've forgotten the Tottenham Danish midfielder. He might have left now. Played a similar role to him. I forgot his name, but I think Norgaard's probably the first 11.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah. And can you name the last Danish player to play for Arsenal?
Oh, could he give me a year? Could he give me that clue?
Well, back in 2006-07, I think when he left.
Oh, it's the tall striker Bentner.
Yeah,
not Bentner.
Yeah, Bentner. No. Okay, so joined Arsenal's youth setup in 2004, made his senior debut 2005, played for the club until 2014. Yeah, it was Lord Bentner, and the previous one, well, the previous biggest famous one, you got Micah Beerith, but the other big name that the porn star lookalike John Jensen.
Oh yes, John Jensen, yes,
wow,
yes,
famous for
he's got a couple of famous goals, but about 3 or 4 seasons between them, I think.
Yeah, and he scored the winner against Germany in the Euro.
Yeah, that's right.
Back in black and white. So there we go. So I'd imagine he's the sort of character. I think he'll be a good character to have around, professional, experienced, and so on. So yeah, he's not going to come in and cause any trouble. And what is the sentiment amongst the Brentford fan in the hive, for want of a better word? In terms of him leaving. Is it a thanks, good luck to you at a bigger club, or whatever?
Well, I think a little bit of concern because, of course, the manager's gone, changed goalkeepers. I think most people are probably pretty happy about the goalkeeper situation, getting Keller in from Liverpool. But the big worry is Frank's gone. The replacement hasn't been named. People thought the replacement might be named today. It's looking like perhaps an appointment from within. Mbeumo will go for a lot of money with everybody's blessings. I think people know that Brentford need to sell to get money back into the club, and it was Mbeumo's time. But I think people are a bit surprised about Norgaard. Yes, he'll go with everybody's blessings, but the perhaps worry is that Brentford might miss him perhaps more than Arsenal will gain from him, because will he really be in Arsenal's first 11? Who knows? But Brentford will certainly miss him, because you could argue it'd be the first name on the team sheet for Brentford. He's popular and respected, but especially gets to the age of 31, and also 10 million plus whatever. It's not going to be the 60 million perhaps that we're going to get from Mbeumo, and we'll certainly miss Norgaard. And whether we've got the replacements, there are a couple of young, strong central midfielders, but whether they're ready to be first choice every week in the Premier League remains to be seen. It's probable that we'll have to recruit someone else, and he's done so well at Brentford, it'll be very hard to replace somebody that can just step into the shoes.
Yeah, no, it does seem like, it's like 10 million. You're not going to find a replacement for 10 million, 10, 15 million, whatever it ends up being. And you're right. I think that's well put, in terms of you'll miss him more than we'll benefit from him, if you see what I mean. Especially with Frank going, having that steady, someone to steady the ship, so to speak, or some consistency there. Losing Mbeumo, losing him, change keeper. It does feel like it'll be tricky, because having that experience there, it's hard to replace that at that price, unless you go and buy yourself a similar 30-year-old centre midfielder, a bit like Sunderland might be getting Jordan Henderson in, and not to get him, of course, but someone of that ilk that can sort of sit there with that Premier League experience. And stuff like that. So how are you feeling about next season? Yeah, it's so annoying that Thomas Frank has gone to them, that club from that club from Middlesex, because everyone likes him. He seems a nice guy. He always has a good word for Arteta and our team, and now I'm going to have to hate him. But so hopefully,
he's left another great club from Middlesex, of course. He's left the Middlesex finest in Brentford. It was a matter of time. He was obviously going to leave at some point. And the frustrating and perhaps worrying thing is that he's taken 2 or 3 coaches with him. Thomas Frank was appointed from within at Brentford 6 or 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago maybe. And there was a coach at Brentford, Justin Cochrane, that is very well thought of in a game. As a coach at Man U before. Thomas Tuchel's got him involved with England, very well thought of, but he's gone with Thomas Frank at Tottenham. And I think people at Brentford thought it might be a very bold, perhaps quite a Brentford-like appointment if Justin Cochrane were going to be the next manager. But obviously he's not now. And Mbeumo will go somewhere. Perhaps he'll go to Spurs. So yes, who's going to be the next head man at Brentford remains to be seen. Keith Andrews has been mentioned a lot. He's been at the club for a year on set pieces. Actually, he mentioned set pieces before. There's a little bit of chat that maybe Lee Carsey could come in. England under 21 could be involved in the coaching team. Who knows? It hasn't been announced yet. I certainly know, and waiting for an announcement.
Yeah, well, Lee Carsley isn't. He's busy with the 21s in Slovakia at the moment, and we've reached the final.
And he was at Brentford before and took over when we needed a coach for a month or 2, and did very well actually a while ago.
Okay, but are you concerned ahead of next season? Do you think you will have? I know it's early days yet. Do you think you'll have enough? To consolidate? Maybe it's a season to consolidate and then go again and bed in some players, and just hoping that some of the clubs that are coming up, do similar to what they did last year. Are there concerns amongst Brentford fans? The departures.
Yeah, well, concerns, yes, but Brentford's been so well managed and has made such brilliant progress over the last 15 years or so. We've got to trust the people right at the top, the owner, the recruitment team. They've done so well. This summer does seem a little bit more challenging, but the truth is, over the last 4 years in the Premier League, we haven't had 1 week in the relegation zone at all. We've perhaps sometimes been looking at over our shoulder a little bit, but we've never really been in serious danger of relegation.
Yeah.
We tend to have started every season very positively and got some points on the board early. And next season, I think it's going to be important to do that, because if maybe in October the 1st, if we're, maybe, I don't know, bottom 7 or 8, I think people will start to just think, in the post-Thomas Frank era, is everything, going to go as well as it did before? Is our success because of Thomas Frank, or is it because of the management, the Matthew Benham, the Lee Dykes, the Phil Giles that are right at the top? Remains to be seen, but we've still got lots of very good players. Finished in the top half last year, not like just in 10th, but for Brentford, that's a very good finish. Be likely to see if we can push on, but we need to recruit, obviously, a coach or an asset coach. Maybe it's been recruited already, announce it, and perhaps a Norgaard replacement and another few new players.
Yeah, and even with Mbremo going, or Mbumo, Sade was picking up at the end of last season. He was banging in a few goals. He looks like he's coming of age, because when he first came onto the scene, he was still quite young and a bit whatever. So maybe he can fill those boots. I think you've already bought some forwards like last year, bedding them in and stuff like that. So yeah, and look, you're right.
2 Brazilians came in last summer 24. Neither of them got on the pitch much at all because of injuries. One big, strong, big Brazilian is going to knock a few defenders over, Igor Thiago. It's a generic name. Like Ivan Toney replacement. They wouldn't even need to change the IT initials on the tracksuits. And another, well, they're both young, but Gustavo Nunes, I'm told, is very creative, attacking dribbler, but he's literally been on the field for just a few minutes, so I can't really pass judgment. Then of course, there's Fabio Carvalho, came for Liverpool.
Yeah,
and he didn't have too much time on the pitch last season because of injury too.
Yeah. So yeah, no, actually, and you're young Italian right back. Oh my God, he's just a whirlwind. He's sort of like I
suppose the game like Arsenal was his high point.
He's an even more out of control Riccardo Calafiori, and I saw a bit of him in the under-21s as well. But he's a force of nature, and I look forward to seeing him. What's his name again? I forgot.
He looks like a bit of an excitement machine. He's going to be charging up and down the right flank, and he's got this incredible long throw, and he looks like he's going to be good to watch. The next season, Michael Coyote.
Yeah, Coyote, that's it. Yeah, Wiley Coyote. I think that's what he should be nicknamed. So
that's it.
There we go. So okay. So no, okay. So not too bad. Again, the summer ahead is still early in terms of the transfer window. It's only been like 3.5 weeks or whatever. There's plenty of time for that. And yeah, I said, I like Brentford. I'm a fan, and yeah, always sort of root for them. Apart from two games of the season. So yeah, looking forward to that, and hopefully.
I think both of those 2 games are midweek this season. One early December at Arsenal. Is that mid-February at the GTech, I think?
I can't remember. I did have the fixtures. I can't remember. I could look it up. There you go. Right, where are we at?
So I think it's the first week of December at the Emirates, and then mid-February, I think, at Brentford.
Oh, okay. So a couple of winter games. Okay, so there we go. Bits. Oh no, we played you sort of towards the end of the season when we didn't care about the league. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 2-2 draw and 3-1 at the GTech. So always interesting games. So anyway, let's just see that. So look, the ties with Arsenal remain. I mean, even back in our day, was it Merson was playing at Brentford? Brian Marwood played for Brentford. Am I right?
I'm not sure if Brian Marwood did. No,
maybe not. I'm running out of time.
I'm not sure if Brian Marwood did.
Fine. No, but Paul Merson. Any other Arsenal connection? I know they're.
I can't think of too many links. Graham Ricks came on the late 80s.
That's right, and I think there might have been one more, but I can't remember. But Well, there we go. Okay. Well, look, that's
Yeah, I'm struggling. I can't think of too many others actually.
yeah. No, I thought maybe there
Oh,
might be.
David Ray, obvious
Oh,
reason.
of course, yeah, David Ray, of course, yes, of course. So yeah. So there we go. Now we got Christian. Well, it hasn't been officially done yet, but when David Ornstein says it's happening, it's happening. So there we go. So look, thank you for that, Tom. Thank you. Despite our technical challenges, we made it. And then hopefully this works. So yeah, no, thanks for giving us those insights. I'm looking forward to seeing what Norgard can offer. And as I said, I think it would be a good pragmatic sort of.
Thank you, Tabs. I've enjoyed coming on. Good luck to you. Apart from in 2 games next season.
Well, we'll get you and either you or Pony to do a pre-match analysis.
Thanks, Andrea. Thanks, Andrea. I'm going to leave you to it. Good luck to the rivals.
So it seems we had a couple of technical issues towards the end of that recording, but I think we got the gist of that. So thank you to Tom for coming on and giving your insights into Nordgaard and what sort of player we're getting, and also interesting to hear how the Brentford season 25-26 is shaping up. So thank you, Tom, for coming on to the Grove, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts when we get to play each other in December and February. So all that leaves me to say is that thank you for listening. Appreciate it, and all that. You can find us on X and Threads and Bluesky at the Grove AFC. Next week we should have another one in our community casts coming up. A nice special guest that we've got lined up with myself and Ian. If anything else comes up in terms of transfers or whatever, we may jump on and do a shorter one. And we'll take it from there. As always, if you can subscribe, do the ratings, really appreciate it. Doesn't take much, but yeah, it does help with the algorithms. Appreciate that if you can do it. Other than that, we will see you the next time. And as always, come on, you Gunners.